Good evening, everybody. Good evening. Okay, so I wanted to just go live for just a few minutes. Hopefully, people are still awake. Just wanted to go live for a few minutes just to talk about my view on spiritual. Kind of what did she like? Somebody suggested me that I should just talk about spiritual husbands or wives. I don't really have much on it, but my view on what I've heard about it is that spiritual husbands and spiritual wives are more, they can be good and can be bad as well, right? So some people have bad spiritual husbands, right? And some have bad spiritual wives. They don't benefit you whatsoever. They basically they don't give you anything of good fortune. All they do is just destroy your life per se. And I won't lie to you, they just don't do good for you in any way. So my term or understanding of a spiritual husband is actually a person who is spiritually sent. Like it's like monitoring spirits are people who come to just disturb your existence, basically your whole life and what you are for, right? So they just stand in your way. They don't do anything good for you and all that. So for me, that's what I understood, that what spiritual husbands are and everything. And they basically stand in your way of your goodness, right? So they absorb you, they take whatever they take from you. Sometimes you have dream of sleeping with somebody and you ask yourself, what's happening? Why did I have a dream of sleeping with somebody that I do not know? Like, yeah, and it's a continuous thing because now this person needs to feed themselves spiritually, and you have the energy that they can harvest on. So they take. They're not, that person is not right for you. They are, like I said, it's a spiritual husband. They're here to absorb your gifts for their own benefit, right? They can be just an actual human being who you're sleeping with, and they take your gifts, or it can be just like a spiritual force that comes in your dreams, takes everything from you. There are some people that are spiritual, right? They have like ancestors who that come in the dreams, or their spirit or angels. They sleep with them to give them gifts. Whereas on the other hand, some spiritual husband are here to absorb that from you. Yeah, one. So my understanding of that, of spiritual husband and spiritual wives, is that these people, they come to absorb from you. They steal your whole existence and everything. So, like, to avoid repeating, there are people who sleep, right? While they're sleeping, right? Their ancestors are able to communicate to them properly, unlike when they are awake. Okay? So, some ancestors come in different um, shapes and sizes, and they come in different ways. So, people need to understand where they come from, the family, what animal or whatever object and everything they believe in, that okay, this thing is is an animal. So if you see this in the dream, do not be scared. Um, do not be frightened, because they're actually a sign from the ancestors. Yeah, one. So let me go to an example. Like for example, there are some people, for them to realize that they're actually talking to their ancestors, they see with a particular animal. Like you find a man that, let's say, was praying so much to God to have a child and never got the answer. Yeah, one. And then now the lady that is with him has a dream that a snake was getting in between her legs. Now, when she wakes up and tells the man that, hey Joe, I had a dream that a snake was getting between my legs. That was a sign from the man's side of the family that you are now going to have a child, because at the side of the man's family, a snake is a sign of good fortune. Whereas it at the woman's side might terrify her that a snake is getting between her legs. At the side of the man is actually explaining that, no man, my prayers have been answered. I'm going to be a father. Yeah, one, because that's this animal that kamohao by rena is a spiritual animal. Now there is a specific color. Yeah, one. So in his family, specific color was yellow. She said, I had a dream of a snake that was yellow, in color. It came in between my legs, scared me, but I wasn't terrified. I was just scared of the fact that the snake was getting in between my legs, right? So the man understood, or in his family, their spiritual animal was a snake, a yellow snake. So that means it was an ancestor who was talking to them. Then there are those who have maybe a similar dream, and then it wasn't a snake. Probably it was like a dangerous animal or something. And that, I think I should do a Bible study on this. It's a very interesting one because I have a lot of examples about it. There's some people who dream of a black snake. So let's say in your family a black snake is a bad thing. So now you, because you're used to thinking that okay, snakes are a family thing. So now we have a black snake. So now you have a dream of a black snake. That is a bad spiritual animal. As much of a bad spiritual husband, that is also a bad spiritual animal. So people need to understand who and what, or should know the difference between what is a spiritual husband and what is an angel that comes into life. So right now I just have a note, right, to just tell you like what is a spiritual husband or what's a spiritual wife. So a spiritual husband or spiritual wife is a concept often found in certain religious and spiritual gifts, particularly within African traditional religions, some of Christianity, and other spiritual practices. The term refers to a supernatural entity believed to be attached to a person in a similar in a manner similar to a marriage relationship, right? So this is a supernatural thing. There's attachment, like yeah, like so that person, usually most of the time they do come in a human form where a person is not right for you spiritually. So now they are attacking you spiritually because they're not right for you. Then there are those who walk around with this spirit or attached to them day and night, and they're not aware that this is actually something that they married into when they were actually in the dreams and they actually had a sexual intercourse with the spirit. So when they just said it's a bad dream and did not take it to consideration or did not even pray about it, now you're attached to this demonic thing that is in your life because you have merged with it sexually or you have made an agreement in your dreams that you're not aware of. In most in Gaboloi, in witchcraft, there's some people who actually go to abatagas and everything, and then they are now merging with a demonic spirit. Now that spirit is now your spiritual husband or spiritual wife because you're not allowed to sleep with anybody else. You're not allowed to even talk to any other person that might aggravate that spiritual husband or wife or that. No? So you go there, you ask for fortune, and they say, we are going to put this snake, or we're going to take this doll, or we're going to make you wash with something. They're going to do something to you that will attach you to that that spirit, right? That keeps you attached to it. So now you are now in a marriage or in a relationship with a spiritual thing, and it will restrict you from anything good in your life, unless the agreement is to make you rich. But remember, when it's rich, you're also doing something that, for it to keep you rich, you need to do something. It's either you're gonna sacrifice your life, or you're gonna go to rivers and all that. It's a really scary thing, because people actually do sacrifices their uteruses, or some the tentacles or whatever. Some sacrifice their own kids or the family, just to get that wealthiness. Or when I said, it's really sad what people do out there just to have money and reputation, because at the end it doesn't work out for you well. So now you're attached to the spiritual thing in your life, and it's harvesting on you. It's really harvesting on you, and you think it's a good thing. So now I'm gonna be like looking at the difference, right? Spiritual husband. This concept suggests that a male spiritual entity has claimed as a woman as it is wife. The belief is that this spirit may interfere with their physical relationship, causing problems in the romantic life, fertility, and other personal areas. As I like I was saying, the minute this person's around you, they will affect your relationship. Whoever you date, whoever you meet, it might cause problems. Maybe the other person might be having traumatic um, nightmares whenever they're with you. It's your partners who got appointed for you, but the problem is that you never prayed for the spirit to go away. You never actually came and asked to be purified of this spirit that has merged into you, or yourself took yourself to this spiritual heat, the spiritual individual, to help you get rich or something, and for you to have luck and everything. And now you cannot have a proper relationship, or so, like I said, some actually sell the uteruses or the testicles. Like, they literally just want something from you in order for to maintain what they were you were promised to. Like, if you're promised to get wealthy by being with the spiritual thing, I mean, obviously you have to sacrifice something for it to keep on getting you rich. And if you can't supply what that spiritual thing wants, you're more likely to hit rock bottom. But it does take a lot from your life, okay? So based on my notes, that's what I know. And it does. A lot of people be single, not because God wants you to be single and work for him. Remember, not everyone is meant to get married. So there are people who are going to be single for the rest of your lives and working for the Lord of Almighty. There are those who have kids but won't get married. There are those who will get married um, and spend most of their time at church working for God. It's something that God has chosen for everyone. Everyone has a life, and sometimes listen to yourself when you talk. And remember, whatever you say is a seed. It will plant somewhere. So if you tell yourself that I will be wealthy, I'll be rich, it will manifest in existence. If I'm when you say to God, "You God, I wanna get this qualification. God, I wanna get this house." But remember, in God's always, I once said this in one of my Bible studies, right? Because this is not a Bible study, it's just me talking about spiritual and so husbands. I would do a Bible study about how the Bible says how this how to remove it and how to separate yourself from it. Okay, so that was just a quick life fail and J. So now it's the same thing with a spiritual wife. Similarly, a spiritual wife refers to a female spirit attached to a man, and this spirit is believed to interfere with their relationship, causing issues like lack of commitment, difficulty in relationships, or problems in personal life. So you'll find men that are actually not doing not I know some guys will use it as an issue, but and women, but there are actually men who are struggling out there, not because the intention they choose to struggle. They actually have a spirit that they do not know where it came from. I mean, most, you know how men are, they sleep around. All women sleep around. You sleep around when you sleep around, and then now you have this spiritual thing in your life interfering with your relationships, with your sexual life, because you're literally married to this spiritual thing. So any other individual that comes in a way of sexual intercourse or relationship, like, it's going to remove it. Okay? It's definitely going to remove it. So now we're gonna go into beliefs and implications. Interference in relationships. People who believe they have a spiritual husband and wife often feel that this entity causes issues in their romantic and marital life. For example, right? They may experience difficulties maintaining relationships, unexplained conflict with partners, or feel of being watched or controlled by a spirit. So obviously now it's like having a psychopathic partner, doesn't want anybody else but you. So like I said, it can come in a human form and it can be just a spiritual form. In a human form, you find, like, maybe, let's say there was this video of a girl said that she was with a friend and then realized that her boyfriend was there watching them. That is also part of like a money a spiritual husband or whatever, because the person is possessed by a certain spirit, right? And they become controlling, they become very protective, even violent at some point, because they want you to themselves. They don't want anybody else. So that person might be possessed by that spiritual thing, because that spiritual thing is harvesting on your energy, is harvesting on your gifts, is harvesting on you. So if any other person comes in between you guys, it's disturbing that spiritual person, right? So you're now feeling trapped in a relationship because it's either you now feel like you're caged, because all your gifts are now with the spiritual thing. It's hold by a spiritual thing. And those gifts cannot come into great things if you are no longer in their presence anymore. So Pila Pila, they need you around to keep those blessings that were for you, that now they have taken, to work. Because the minute you distance yourself, they become weak. So it's like they take something from you in order for it to continue working, right? I take, but I cannot distance you from it from a longer distance. You must still be here, but not here. You just need to be there while I have what's yours to work. It was like this. I took it away from you. I have your gifts, but the minute you go away and you find somewhere deliverance, or you find somebody else, it also pulls your gifts away. And then eventually they will have to fight to get you back. So sometimes when you break up with somebody who was, and you felt like nothing was going your way, you just be like, no, God is testing our relationship. Sometimes it's not God testing your relationship. Sometimes you're just with the wrong person. Or that person is the right person, but they're not strong enough. They need to pray. They need to be under God's wing. They need to be strong. Okay? So I will do a Bible study on this. It does sound like a really beautiful thing to talk about, because a lot of people in this generation do not know that they actually are under demonic control, and they don't know how the issues that they have in their life is because of those demonic people, and they're not aware of it, and we need to deal with such. Okay, so I definitely feel like we need, like, people need to be aware of this, right? And it would I feel like it would definitely work out if people knew what they were dealing with. So not everybody knows what they're dealing with,